Play on.
Lamborghini. Look at the speed! Shaun Johnson! Aguero! It's over! Pass is intercepted at the goal line.
In your life have you seen anything like that?
Elliott hits it up into the grandstand, and New Zealand are in the World Cup final.
Play on.
Here we go.
Here we go. My bro.
What up, bye? Welcome in to what we're calling the Play On Show. Brooke Ruscoe here, Shaun Johnson to my left. Brooke Marc is at the back as well. I know one thing for damn sure, we're past the eye test. Coming from the morning shift and where we started and seeing this now, I know Jordan's like, what the is going on here?
He's salty. But I said I am super grateful to the morning shift. You fellas walk so we can run.
Facts.
There you go.
Facts. Right. I think it's important, first of all, if you're listening to this, welcome. But I think it's important just to let everybody know this first show is going to be different. It's going to be a bit of a hybrid to, I guess, kind of the shows that we're going to do. But I think it's important for us to start with kind of what life's been like for you in the last 6 months. There's a lot of questions that people are asking, and I know you've bitten your tongue for a long time. Here's the thing, guys, is I was actually like, Shaun, I know you're injured at the moment. Things aren't going that well. Should we push it out? And you're the one, and I'll give you credit, who's been like, nah, I've got something to say. I want to do this now while things aren't all sunshine and rainbows. Like, I want to get this going. So I have to salute you to that. But before we get into that and everything going on, I think if no one knows who we are, I know, obviously,
never
but
assume.
Let's start with you. Like, just tell us a little bit about yourself outside, I guess, rugby league.
Outside of rugby league, I am a father. I'm a brother. I'm a son.
Very good father, I'll give you that.
I've got two beautiful daughters, beautiful wife, Kayla. Grew up in Auckland. Started playing rugby league when I was 4. Chased the dream, achieved the dream, living the dream.
When you were 4?
My first game was when I was 4 for the Hibiscus Coast Raiders, bro. So I used to go down as a 2-year-old and run around the field with my older brothers. And my dad tells yarns about how he knew back then that I was going to be something, of course, right? Chased that dream. And I'm currently still living that dream, bro. That's pretty much me in a nutshell.
Did you ever play rugby?
Rugby, a little bit of rugby through school, more just because it was with mates.
What were you, first 5?
Yeah, I was first 5. The day I decided rugby was not for me is we were getting beat 21-0 by Massey, and we had a penalty, and they told me to take a shot at goal. And that was it for me. So I moved on. Yep.
You know what I'm going to go try these pastures over here.
Yeah, I think rugby league's the one for me. But what about you, bro? For the people watching, a little bit of a rundown on who you are.
For everybody who's coming here from, I guess, the rugby league community, myself and Brooke Marc, who's here as well, we're a part of a podcast called The Morning Shift. I'm from a place called Porirua, which is in Wellington. Father as well. Winter is my little boy. And I guess basketball is my background, but I love sports. And I guess kind of the circle that we're in at the moment, we'll kind of tap into our relationship along the way. But Shaun and I's, I guess, tight-knit group is sports heavy and all different sports. And the banter, the scraps, just the over-the-top egos are there all the time. And I'm excited for us to tap into that as well.
All we've done here is put a mic in front of what organically is going to happen anyway. And if there's one group of people that are probably not too happy with this, it is our circle of mates.
We have to listen to you guys more?
That was the first reply, eh?
Poor Kayla, poor Shaun's wife. This is actually, sorry, Marc, while you're here. And Marc, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh, really? This early on? No. So I'm not only a massive sports fan, I am probably the oldest of us all, easily the oldest of us all, but also have worked in sports media. So the fascinating thing for me is probably watching the humanity side of things, because I think sports media in general has lost the ability to realize that that's somebody's son out there playing footy, or that's somebody's daughter on the court right now, or all those kinds of things. So I was always felt a little disillusioned when I worked at Radio Sport, because I was the guy who was like, what are we doing? Why are we, you know, I've always believed sports media should be about, it's the entertainment game, right? Like, it always weirds me out that sports news is a thing. Like, it's a sports entertainment product. So the job within media should be about selling the hype, should be about selling the dream, should be about encouraging fans to get along, not tear the players down. And I think the more time that and the time that I get to spend with you two and watch you both go, and Shaun, I've watched you your whole career.
Yeah.
Like, I have watched you your whole career. That's how old I am. And so to have somebody who wants to be a voice, I think and wants to be able to be honest, because this is so helpful for not only parents who will be listening, but young players who will go through what you've been through, and just to be able to hear your take, because there's nothing like hearing someone who's been in the battle arena. And the same with you, Brooke. You've both been in the battle arena.
Brother Mark,
Oh,
you just,
I made sure I didn't do
sitting
that.
a lot that way.
Yeah, so that excites me. So I'm glad to be a part, boys.
Awesome, brother.
I know that this hybrid show it's not how it's going to be as we go forward.
Oh, we're breaking down all sports as we get going.
Totally, but I think this is an important place to start, just so people, come along from the very start for this ride, and the community grows as we move.
And it's almost a weight of pressure or responsibility now, because you are going to step into this, and this is why I credit it to you. So you haven't really talked too much, and just for context, guys, Shaun and I would probably talk to each other multiple times a week. He was babysitting my son last weekend at a netball game. I'm Shaun's godfather.
My godfather?
I'm Miller's godfather.
Yes, thank you for that correction.
So like the connection is there, and even as we've started to do this, even I'm like, wow, there's so many things that I didn't know. Like, let's just tap into the injuries, because injuries has been it's crazy, right? Because last year everything's flowing, everything's perfect, up the wire starts, Dally M's, you guys are there or thereabouts to win the whole thing. This year, nursing injuries, everything has unfolded in a different manner. Probably not the way, actually no, it's definitely not the way you saw the season going.
No, it's definitely not, bro. And it's I've just got to nestle in here, because this is the space I want to be in. Like this, like Mark just touched on. This is such an important space to be able to have a voice. And it's easy to have a voice when things are going great. It's probably even easier to stay very quiet when things aren't. So it's been a challenging year, bro. It really has. It's been from a performance point of view. There's no secrets. I haven't been at the level, not just what everyone expects me to be at, but me personally, the expectations and the standards I hold myself to.
Which is probably the hardest part too, right? Because you hold yourself to and every athlete does this, but you hold yourself to the highest level. Yeah,
there's always two sides. There's the expectation from the external, but there's no greater expectation than, what you place on yourself. So it's been so frustrating, bro. In that sense, it's like my Achilles has been the main root of all of that, and there's no excuse, because I still took the field. That was a decision I made. I put my hand up every week to go out there because I wanted to, one, win, and two, continue to, ultimately why I play the game, earn the respect of my teammates. But what's that saying? I sort of bit off a bit too much, more than I could chew. And it caught up to me, bro. It caught up to me back-to-back weeks where I couldn't complete training sessions. Probably worse than that, carrying the injury when I go home. When it starts to affect you in your everyday life, that's when things start to become heavy. So it's not like, hey, I've got this going on at work, but I can leave it there and I can escape and go home. This was something that you carry with you all the time, and eventually it got to the point after that Gold Coast game where it was like, I'm doing far more damage than good to my teammates and affecting us winning in the right way and performing at a high level, and two, to myself, and that's when, like a lot of people saw, all that noise, external heat, or external weight came down.
I think, and this is the part where I'm excited for what we can do with this. I had no idea that you're getting out of bed, you can't walk.
Yeah.
You're on a 2-story house, you can't really get down the stairs. You can't play with the kids. Like, this is the part of the Shaun Johnson story, or maybe any athlete that is nursing an injury, that us as fans, we don't get to see. And this is why this is exciting.
I want to make it, really clear, because this cannot come across as an excuse.
Yeah.
This is just a reality, and I'm not the only one. And this is probably going to highlight the bigger picture with all of this that we're going to try break down, is that what you see isn't always the story. Like, there's so much more that goes on to an individual that you have an opinion about, and I reckon 95% of the players in the NRL, I can only attest to that, are playing with an injury.
Yeah.
And I don't know if people listening have ever thought of it, but I guarantee you 95 at least.
Some sort of niggle.
100%. No one's taking that field it's just not the case, bro. You're just not ever taking that field fresh or at 100%. You know.
Week in
Shaun,
and
can
week
I?
out.
I don't want to overstep my boundary because, I'm still getting to know you. But when that decision is made after the Titans game, and that was a horrendous game for all us fans watching, we're like, oh my goodness, how does that?
Oh, that's putting it
take
lightly, brother. That
place?
was tough to watch.
That was.
Yeah, how does that take place? That conversation, is it you going to management and saying, guys, this is like, oh, you know what I've been going through. It's time to take a knee here, or is it them saying, hey, dude, like, we've got promising halves pairing who have won in the past. What is that? How did that happen?
Well, to be fair, they were probably going to drop my ass anyway. After I tossed that up, they're probably going, no, this bloke's out. But it was at a point where I knew, the relationship I have with Andrew Webster, our coach, is one like I've never had. Like with any of the coaches, one of pure trust, transparency, and supreme confidence that he's got my back. So that after the Titans game, Matua, it was as simple as I went to him and I said, I cannot do this anymore. And he looked at me and nodded the head in agreement because he knew exactly what I was feeling. And also, he's got games of football to win. And at that point in time, I'm not the best option at that level I'm playing at. And that's a tough pill to swallow because in my mind, I know what I can do. But when you can't back it up, physically, it's so tough to swallow. And after that game, it was a rock bottom snap for me where it was like, bro, you're kidding yourself if you think you belong in this arena right now. You're letting your teammates down, you're letting yourself down. So I actually approached the coaching staff, but it was met with agreeance. It wasn't met with anything other than, they're not trying to convince me to keep going. It was like, yeah, 100%. And we will do whatever we can to make sure that you get on top of this. So that was that case.
But run me through Andrew Webster. Because I guess, and we've been lucky, like we've sat through dinners and you've kind of talked me through this, but you were saying there was times where you lost maybe 2-3 games last year and things didn't look that good, but you knew he was the guy because nothing changed. His attitude, his mantra has always been the same. And now I say we've, like I'm part of the Warriors, but the Warriors have lost you and Tohu.
Yep.
That you can't replace those games. But I'd imagine his character stayed the same.
I think, you're exactly, in terms of character, and that's a real sign of, to me, a great coach. That's why I said it last year. You believe in the systems you put in place are so strong that no individual's bigger than that system. And he has been tested time and time. He got tested, in the scheme of things pretty lightly last year. Like we had a really good year. Things were clicking. We were all healthy. We were loving it. Boom, that flowed. This year, the way he is rolled with the punches, but upheld what he believes wins us football games and driven them even harder in those times is probably, to me, just cements what I already thought of the guy. Like he's going to have a long, successful coaching career. One, he's a great people's person. Two, he's very firm and very clear on what wins football games. Sometimes in a long season of NRL, you can sometimes lose sight or take maybe things for granted. And maybe it takes a few losses or a performance like something you didn't see coming, like getting beat by 60, to really just bring you back and dive in and circle in and hone in on what you know works and what you know wins footy games. So he's handled this period tremendously, I think. The way he's rallied the troops and backed up by senior players, the likes of Mitch Barnett, Dylan
beast.
Walker, Tamati Martin coming in just playing out of his skin, like just doing his job, and then Chanel, like just people stepping up. And that's what we're about.
Run me through the halves pairing. Because you're almost like an overseer now, right? Like I know for the first time you actually went and watched the game, like you were at the Warriors, but as in the stands. Like this is all very different for you. Like as you watch these two halves, you've been there for the last 10 years. That's been your position, but you watch them work right now. You must be proud though.
Yeah,
a little bit like, hey guys, like this is a little too good. Like I have to kind of work my way back into this, but
it's a little bit like, hey, easy. Nah, it is, and always will be, nothing but support and love, for any of my teammates, and in a space where I hope, how do I say this right? Like I hope that they feel that.
Yeah.
Because I have been in environments where senior players have been on the out or have had an injury and not been, I guess, included in a lot of things. And
you can feel the energy.
The energy shifts dramatically. The impact it can have on younger players coming through, it can become really toxic really quick. So I've had some good examples on what it shouldn't look like. And I I just want to be the best possible teammate for them, like always an open book if they've got questions. Now, Tamati is playing better than I have all year. So he ain't asking me shit. I mean, he ain't asking me nothing, like I'm going to have to go to the bro,
Brother, what are you
at some
doing,
point,
brother?
hey, can you come and help me out? But like, that has to be that open door, and we work like in preseason, bro. We all work together and we play scenarios out. Shaun, you're out. T, your middle service. Chanel, you're left edge. Chanel, your middle service. T, jump on the left. Chance, you're on the right. Like
You forget about Luke Metcalf as well?
Luke Met, you're on ball now. Like we have a system where we all work and like to better each other, but understand how the team is best going to play as one. Yeah. So that's still the messaging. That's just because I'm out injured. I still want to be there as best I can and help where I can without sort of overstepping and trying to make it about me when it's step back, get on top of your own stuff and let the boys go to work.
Let's make this about you, Shaun, just for a moment. Have you always been that type of person where or does this come with like a fine wine with age that you see the importance of being able to share knowledge? Or are you the kind of person and have you had to learn that, or is it something you've always been?
I don't know if it's, I'm probably not the right person to ask whether that's always been me. But I have found through other leaders I've had in the past, the type of leader I've always wanted to be. I've had some really good examples and I've had some poor examples, and I think, to best answer that question, ultimately, I think as a person, so forget me as an athlete, like I remember the Butch said to me years ago, the Mad Butcher, sorry,
Even saying that.
when I came into first grade, he said the greatest gift you can give someone is your time. And I will never, ever forget that. And I think regardless of whether I'm in the Warriors, building or I'm out, it's just, I think that's probably my nature, is just to give people time, like I often get asked even, like if a kid comes up and asks for a photo or, you're out at dinner and someone comes up and asks. Now, there's a manner to asking, don't get me wrong, but does that get annoying? And I've never found it annoying. Like I've found it a privilege, and I've always been like, man, I remember when the shoe was on the other foot and the difference and the impact something like this could make on, would have made on me and could potentially make on the little kid or even the dad who's pretending that the photo's for his daughter. Like it's kind of, that's probably all I can say around that, Matua. Like it's not, I don't know if it's always been me, but what has always been me is being open to giving people my time. And, in the building and where I work and what I do every day, when I'm a senior player and I do have runs on the board and a knowledge that I've accumulated over a career of work, if someone wants to know, I will answer it, but I'll never force it or, blurt it on like someone.
All right. Well, what about answering that question for your friend Brook? Is he that?
Now, see, Brook, he's the type of fellow that will definitely. Hey, bro, what are you doing there, bro?
No one asked me for photos, bro. So when I get the opportunity, I'm like, yeah, brother. I'm out here asking, would you like a photo with me, brother? Just while we're here.
You got a pen there? I'll sign that for you too.
What you need from me, brother? What you need?
Yeah.
What about the? I mean, it's no secret. What happened at the Titans was, I mean, a lot of Warriors fans felt like that was rock bottom for the team to go there and have that score put against them. The comments. And you came up with your social media post, and I thought it was a really well thought out. Because it's a double-edged sword there, right? People will see, oh, hang on a minute, like you get paid heaps, you have to take this. This is part of the job. But can you talk us through the post and I guess some of those comments? And is it a matter of volume? Is it something that someone said? Like how do you get to a point?
Yeah, I'd felt the pressure, the external pressure of, comments, opinions building. And I'm very lucky that throughout my career, this isn't the first time, but probably the first time I felt confident enough to step and face it head on. In the past, I would have just jumped off social media for 2 months, 3 months. But with where I'm at now, I felt very comfortable to be like, man, if this is affecting me, now I'm very lucky with the support crew I've got around me that it probably didn't affect me as much as what people think it did. But the value in it for me was, if this is affecting me with where I'm at in the stage I'm at in my career and my life, like there's other athletes out there, there's other humans out there feeling pressure in some sort of way. Now, it might not have been that way. It might have been a far worse way. It might have been a far less way, but it's just pressure. And it's toxic and it's not nice. If you're human, it's not nice. I don't care who you are. So it was important for me just to be like, if I can be an example while I'm the guy under fire, while I'm the guy copping it, while I'm the guy in the middle of it all, to show people that let's not let this eat away at us too much and just stay focused on what we can control, then let me be that guy. And I wasn't sure how it was going to be received, but the feedback I got from it was certainly really cool, and I'm glad I stepped out in that time to do that.
One thing I will credit you in is, even in the darkest of times, when you're not playing, it's not going well, obviously these comments are coming through. One thing you never show is you never show it in your face. You'll always be the same bubbly person. And that's one thing I've always commended, is that you never show it here. You never show it in your energy out. But I know at times it would have been the hardest thing to deal with. It would have been the toughest thing to deal with.
Yeah, I think, like, it's interesting to hear you say that, because on the flip side of that, I feel like it's okay or just as important to feel whatever you want to feel. And there were certainly times, I'm probably a little bit more closed off. I'd definitely feel it, when I'm at home, Kayla would sense something's off.
Without a doubt.
But when you've got a couple of kids, that you get to walk through the front door every day, and there is zero judgment there. I could have won the game, kicked a droppy from 40 metres out. I could have cost us the game, thrown an intercept pass. They don't care.
Shaun Johnson's not walking in, his dad walking in the house.
You would have seen me in your house if you just won it from the 40.
So it's like I've got pieces all around me where I can, if I want to, use it as motivation, or even just level everything out that I'm feeling at that time. So like there's the element of, okay, feel it, deal with it. How do we move on? How do we focus on the things we can control? But for anyone listening to this, like I just, if you are in a similar position to what I am in right now, or of what I've been going through, like just feel it, absorb it, and know that there's people around you that want to do right by you.
I know we're sending a lot your way today. You're doing it well. You're taking it. But one of those things that you would be getting a lot at the moment is that question of retirement. The question of, is number 7 going to lace them up next year?
Yep. Well, this is the issue here, Brooke. So I literally said we could talk about anything, and then here we are. So, bro, like on the there's no announcement coming right now. About whether I am playing, whether I'm not playing. But as being respectful to some of the conversations that have happened in the background around that, I will just say, like, those conversations are happening, and I definitely feel like right now I am really like unsure about what next year looks like, and it's even dealing.
Is it weird to feel that?
Yeah,
because you're a long time retired. I never played sport to the level of you, but it's kind of all you know.
Yeah,
you run from your problems, you go to the rugby field.
Yeah,
like that's your safe place. And I know that you're of the understanding that we're at the twilight end, but what's next for me? Because this is all I've done for the last 34 years.
Well, my bro, we are starting a podcast.
Oh,
so. It's like next year is. It is, if I'm being honest, it is starting to eat away at me a little bit.
I bet.
Because the unknown or the insecurity around what that looks like. And the hardest part about it is it's like, I still love the sport so much, and I still feel like if I'm healthy, I can compete at the highest level. Now, I'm not the only one involved in this decision, like there's...
Oh, I'm going to tell you if it's time to hang them up.
Yeah, like there's people I trust and their opinions do matter to me. So we've got a team that are playing really well without me in the team, so that's factor, there is, I am really enjoying being able to walk down my stairs at the moment. I'm really enjoying getting out of bed and not like hobbling, like,
which is probably a foreign concept.
That's it, bro. Like it's like I feel like I can breathe again. But there's also the part where, like, if I'm sitting at home next year and I'm watching the boys go to work, I don't know how that makes me feel. Like, I still very much love it. I still very much feel like I can compete at the highest level. And in some ways, respectfully, without, being arrogant or coming across that way, I still believe I'm the best option for the Warriors in the number 7 jersey, And until that changes, then I'm pretty sure my decision's going to be pretty cloudy, Like, it's... This next couple of months, bro. This next couple of months.
We're doing this, baby.
This next couple of months is going to be really, really defining in that, like with how I come back from this injury. and even just how the boys go over the next month. You know, like I'm not the only one involved in this decision, and ultimately I want what's best for the Warriors.
Can I ask you one question then? Can you answer the question whether you would play elsewhere, or is the Warriors the place where you want to finish up?
Nah, so I had
Benji came knocking, didn't he?
Yep. So I had last year I had the option to go to the Tigers for this year. This year I had the option to go to the Roosters for next year, and ultimately the only
that's why we're doing this.
that's why we're doing this,
Come
baby. Hey,
on.
you want to know this info? So know where you come, play on Sports Show, baby.
Come on.
But for me, it's like if I think about performing at a high level and wanting to put my body through everything that you got to put it through to play in the NRL, the thought of winning in another team's colours just does not sit right with me at all. And it's
Oh man, that made me so happy to hear.
but like I just ultimately having success and bringing the first premiership to the Warriors is all I have left to do.
I'll back you up in this sense. Last year, after the game against the Knights, where you guys won, I don't know how, but I ended up back at your house, and you had this.
That's right.
You had this energy that was like, we can do this, and this is the only place that I ever want to do this. So the flip side of that, I was also there the day because Kayla was busy. That everything was happening with you leaving the Warriors and
Yep.
potentially heading over to the Sharks. And I hated it because we were playing Monopoly cards and I was killing you at that, and you're about to leave us, and so you're crying twice.
Yeah,
but
right.
I just the raw emotion that I don't know if everyone knows that you have for the Warriors, the love that you genuinely have for the Warriors. I can't fold you on that.
Yeah, it's a connection that runs so deep. Like it's well before my time of even like donning the jersey for the first time. I grew up. It's the only club I ever wanted to play for. It was like the dream just to wear these colours. So, you know, when that all unfolded the way it unfolded, and I ended up leaving, there were tears, man. That was deep tears. That was like deep, like cut. You know, that's going to take a while for me to process this, but you see how it works out, and I come back. First year in Brisbane was tough. Come back next year, get to experience what last year was, and just touching on your point of walking around the field last year, like that's probably what's made this year even tougher. You know, and if I'm going to speak, you know, my absolute mind, it's like in some ways I feel like people are so quick to forget, you know, the body of work that you put in for so long, you know, for an organisation you love, and that's probably why, you know, this negative attention is so loud this time round.
Yeah.
And why I feel like I want to step into it and actually be vulnerable in this space, because like it's a club I care deeply for, and it's like everything I've done for the club or, you know, achieved in this jersey, even thinking back to that response I had walking around the field last year at Mount Smart,
Crazy.
like that love I felt, that was like that just went away. You know, it's like that just went away. So, look, man, ultimately, I was not at a level to perform and to play at a high level for the Warriors this year. So I get the frustration, but it was like, it just seemed like a bit more than that, you know.
Must be
People
tough.
quick
You
to
were
forget.
Dally M. Oh, no, sorry. You're running up for Dally M. That's right. You're so close.
Dally M halfback of the year, though, bro. Surely.
Kalen Ponga, though. He's
Man, like,
subjective.
Ponga goes all right.
He does go all right. Can we just, before we move on any further, and I feel like it's been heavily directed at you, and I
Hopefully people listening to this, these are actually what people wanted to know. I'm hoping, because this is a hybrid show. So if you are listening to this and you're thinking, oh, is that what these guys should? This is not what it's going to be like moving forward. But
Not at all.
There were some questions that needed to be answered. So that's what we're here doing. Just
Hey,
to recap
just
on that.
really quickly too, like Brooke, you've retired from professional. That you could be handing out advice here if per se
Here we
that's
go.
where we were headed. So any questions you've got for him, Shaun, on retirement, what it looks like,
Well,
how do you get through it?
Here we go. Actually, I do.
That's
I
who
do.
was forced upon me. They kicked me right out.
That's it, eh? When was it clear to you, bro? This is me being sincere. Was it actually clear to you that it was time to move on and hang him up? Or was it like a constant battle you fought for ages?
Both.
Yeah?
It was both. I think deep down I knew that I should retire because okay, long story short, if you hear though, I had surgery that went terribly wrong, and I had a piece of drill snapped off that was left in my hip.
Okay.
So we worked through that. I had no idea that this drill is still in there. We play, for the next, I think it's like 7 or 8 years with this just chipping away. So I think deep down I knew when you're taking 4 tramadols before every training and game, it's probably not the best way to be living your life.
Yeah.
But you love the game so much, you feel like you've done everything to get to that point that you want nothing else just to finish it off in your own way. But we finished our final season. I was in Cairns, and there was just kind of this understanding of you're not training, you're barely playing. Actually, you're not playing. We're paying you this. It's probably time to step away. But it was never at the level that you were at.
Well, just on that level, if you guys haven't got out Google and typed in Brooke Ruscoe yet, we're talking the
Off you go,
NBL.
Shaun.
We're talking, what, you played for Cairns, was it?
Oh,
Here we go. Run us to know. Oh, wait, and what I do know, 4 caps for the Tall Blacks.
It was probably like 12, but come on now. Hey, $50. We were getting $50 a day for the Tall Blacks. That's how you know you're doing it for the love. But you're probably 12, bit of time in America,
Yeah.
a little bit of the ANBL, a lot of time here in New Zealand. Here's what I was, Shaun. I was a high school prodigy that it all didn't work out how we all thought it was going to work out, all right? We thought we were going to the NBA. We ended up in the NBL. It was the NB. Just the L and A was very different,
Roger.
which meant that the
Well, it was
pay
still
brackets
something.
was very different
It
as
was
well.
still something.
But
For you though, Brooke, like there would have been because this is the thing that probably neither of you understand. For people who have never been in the arena or have never been professional athletes, we're not wired the same as you. Like either of you two, and that's why I enjoy watching you both sort of compete with different
wait
things
till
that
we
you
get
take.
going, baby.
Like you guys are built differently. Like I can quite easily take an L and sleep at night, but for you guys it's different. So Brooke, for you when the decision was kind of made for you to a certain extent, but then you also had, what's the thought that was going through your head? Like, this is no longer me. Like, did it
fear,
feel like...
bro. It's fear. That's because you only know one thing, and your personality becomes I'm Brook, the basketball player.
Yeah.
I'm Shaun, the rugby player. You're attached to this, but you're not really. I'm Brook, and what I do is play basketball. But you've been told this for the last 25, 26, 27 years that this is the person that you are. So you're worried because your identity has now been taken away from you. Who are you?
Yeah.
And that's the scariest part. And you don't work that out till after. And in the moment, it's a facade that you're trying to show everybody that it's A-OK and it's sunshine and rainbows. But deep down, your only identity is this person that is a basketballer, and that's the scariest thing. The thing after is, Mark, you touched on it. You're wired this way. This competitive side, the itch never goes, but how you get rid of it is completely separate. You go to training and you talk smack, you argue, you have a little tussle here and there. You play on Saturday. That competitive side's always going to be there, and then one day,
Gone. Okay.
it's gone.
I don't think I'm retiring. No.
That's good news.
Well, like it's actually a really cool conversation to have because that's where we're heading is, I think, sports in general now is up until I reckon social media really kicked off. You were just known as, like you said, the Brook, the basketball player, Shaun, the league player. And now we're getting encouraged to be or find ventures and avenues where we can diversify that.
Right.
And set ourselves up with stuff that we can have outside of football because if you're so invested in one thing, it can become very draining. Like it can become
consuming.
It just eats you, right? Now you can sort of find something that just freshes you up here and there, like whether it's a sports show or a podcast, whether it's the golf course, whether it's something that's just completely separate or unique or different from what you do every day, you bounce into that building with a spring in your step, ready to go. And I think over the past maybe handful of years, say 5 years, that's a bit of my game which I've really got right, like being able to get fully away from footy. So each time I walk through those doors, I'm here, I'm really keen for this. So sort of, breaking the mold of not just being Shaun the football player or the rugby league player and Brook to being the basketball player, finding things that, man, like you're more than that. And then all of a sudden one day when it does come to end, hopefully, for me, closer than maybe most others, it's not going to be such a big shock.
One down. I'm glad. And I want to reiterate one more time that this isn't what the show is going to be
Hybrid
like.
show, baby. Pilot, hybrid, get to know us. Hopefully we answered some of your questions.
We'll be back next week, baby.
Tune in, baby. Play on.